Hey y'all, it's the Milkmaid back again. I wanted to talk a little bit about gardening and my garden plans and that kind of thing. So I thought I'd show you a little bit of what I'm doing here. What we're looking at right now is some French breakfast radishes that I've got planted. They're pretty cold hardy, so I put them in earlier, and yeah, so that's kind of what I started with. I'll show you kind of the gist of my garden. So here it is. It's about 10,000 square feet from fence to fence. I've got an old rickety fence, and I decided to move it in here because deer ate like freaking everything last year. These are my beds. Generally I don't till, but I did to start with here just because my soil is really hard, rocky clay. That's the garlic right there. I planted that late, so I planted that in the spring. Probably won't get good bulbs off of it, but I should get enough to be able to save for next year because we go through a lot of garlic. I have the beginnings, and I'll explain how I did these beds in a second, but I have the little beginnings of a tiny pond. I figured that might be good for frogs. We've got a lot of tree frogs, so frogs and stuff like that will chill there and eat bugs. And then these are my garden beds. They're like 3 feet by, it varies from 40 to 26 feet. I've got other ones I haven't put hay on before. I like to get hay as a mulch to keep the moisture in, and also feed the soil. It's really important if you decide to use hay or manure or anything like that to double, triple, quadruple check to make sure that the hay wasn't grown in a field that that had graze on, or another. My dog thinks I'm a new person. Gita, shh, it's quiet. It's me. Hi. To make sure that man, she killed my train of thought. It hasn't been sprayed with graze on or aminopyralids or other persistent herbicides that kill broadleaf plants, because most of your vegetables will be broadleaf plants with the exception of maybe amaranth, but corn I know isn't. Corn's like a grass actually. But that it will stay in your soil and make it hard to have a crop. So what I did was I came and I tilled this area, right? And then I raked up pathways into the beds. That way there's a deeper depth that's looser soil. I don't plan on ever tilling again. That really breaks up your soil structure, ruins the mycelium network, and I could get really nerdy, but I'm not for this video. But then I have some manure that I know the horses weren't fed any of that hay, because it will pass through their system even if you hot compost and everything. I mean, it'll still stick around. It's some scary stuff right there. And then I've spreaded them out. Now you can see I already have weeds popping up everywhere, but when I go to plant everything out, I'm just gonna pull them out, throw the mulch down, and the mulch kind of knocks the rest of it out. Over here, this bed right here, and this bed, I'm going to have trellises. And the way that I do that is I take some T-posts, which I don't even know what they cost right now. They're kind of getting expensive, but I put T-posts in, and I have, you know, some cattle panels. They're really expensive now, but I picked up some at like a farm auction. I couldn't buy like the big 20 thing because it went for like, oh gosh, I think it went for close to 200, and I didn't have enough cash on me. But I found like 4 or 5 that were kind of off to the side, and I looked at the auctioneer and I said, hey, are these being auctioned too? And he goes, oh, I didn't even see those. He was like, well, what do you give me for them? And I was like, I want to say it was like 10 bucks. And he's like, sold. So I got 4 or 5 cattle panels that, I mean, they had like trees growing through them and everything, and one guy happened to have a saw and let me cut the cedars out of them. but you know, save a lot of money. But what you could do also is you can use concrete mesh. It's all rusty and stuff, but the rust isn't going to hurt your plants. I mean, it really isn't. Plants are hardy. I try to kill them all the time. You know, the ones that live are the ones that are really going to make it. So I've got all my peas right here. I don't do shelling peas. I just find it a lot of work. So I'll grow snow peas and snap peas. That way I can utilize the pod too. And what a lot of people don't realize is with these peas, if you see, let's see if I have it on camera. If you see right here, if you pop the tops off of these, I'm not going to do it now because these are young and they're, you know, starting to try to trellis. But the tips of these plants, and probably even the rest, taste just like peas. You can take those and add them to stir fries or whatever else, soups. But that's another thing too. If you don't have good yields, at least you can take the tips of those. And of course I got them all mulched in because I'm a lazy waterer. So I let the rain do the work. I just make sure I mulch them really well. Because if you think about it, plants in the wild, guess what? God waters them. So he takes care of my watering too. But yeah, so that's what I've got here. And then as these are getting older, what I'll do is I'll take my tomatoes and I'll plant them in here. Same with the cucumbers. I'm going to space out my cucumbers this year because I planted probably about 8 plants last year, and I just do the pickle ones. But they end up coming all in at once, and that's a pain because I can't keep up with that kind of processing. It's just too many. So the pigs really enjoyed cucumbers this last year. But yeah, so that's my garden. I've got these beds here, and then the beds over there. I'm gonna get some more hay, weed out these and mulch them, and then start popping in my plants. I also have to put up my big fencing because the deer just demolish everything. And then what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do in this area right here is probably come in with a mower and mow everything. And then right on the ground, I'm gonna take a shovel full of manure that I've got, plop it down, plop the potato whole. I don't bother with cutting and stuff. I don't think they grow as well that way. But they're already chitted, which means they have the little sprouts. I just plop them on the ground and cover them with hay. Then I water them in. And then after they get about, 12 to 18 inches tall, I'll bank hay up around the plant. And mostly that's to keep your developing potatoes that come later on from getting green. Because the green is the buildup of, I can't remember the technical term for the chemical. However, it's not good for you. It's poisonous. Just like eating potato leaves. Don't do that. Or tomato leaves. But yeah, then they just grow. It's really easy. Way easier than digging. I don't like digging. Yep, that's my garden and garden plan, and this has run on quite long enough, so I will talk to you guys later.